Welcome. I'm Jenny, your host, and today I brought on with me a guest because I don't love talking into the camera, but I love meeting people. And I love bringing people on that are interesting and fascinating. And Andrea Sun is here with me today that I'm going to have her introduce herself so that she can say everything she wants to say. And then we'll talk a little bit about how we met and what we're doing. So go for it. Tell us who you are and what you
Wow.
do.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Jenny. We really like hanging out. Jenny is my coach at the moment, and I'm in her program. I love working with her, and she's an amazing dynamite marketing lady. And
Thank you. It's so
a
fun.
little bit about me. Trying to think of a short way of putting it. Basically, I'm a vet trainer and assessor, and I'm running my own intuition certification academy. And I specialize in supporting wellness coaches, practitioners, healers, visionaries, creatives, people that are wanting to do business in a more kind of embodied way, a more easier way, a more fulfilling way, that they're following a calling. And
Yeah.
so I've discovered a new way of being with business. So I'm now teaching my intuitive client magnetism program, and I'm also teaching my intuitive ease alignment cycle, which helps you go from hustle and burnout prosperity to embodied prosperity and ease. So it's more prosperity consciousness.
Love that.
And
Yeah.
this is our natural state that we're born with. And this whole fight and flight and struggle and survival mode is an old energy. And it actually is depleting people's health and depleting people's energy. I have a background of 30 years experience in holistic health way back. and I started with remedial massage, acupuncture, healing, and looking for an easier way and doing 7 businesses part time and other lots and lots of jobs, looking for an easier way to avoid burnout and more fulfillment and ease. So I'm so happy to be here.
I know, when you and I first met, one of the things that we started doing was human design. And
Yes.
that's when it was fascinating how much you and I have in common
Yes.
because we're both projectors, right? And we both have that hermit first, and yet we're
Yes.
both outgoing people and stuff. So one of the I just know one of the reasons why you're really good at what you do is as a guide, as someone who can help um as a projector. That's what we do, but like your special blend of it looks different obviously than mine. Um anyway, so I was just going to throw that out there because I was like, when we first met, we were like, oh my gosh, look, you have this and this because we're both Pisces and we're both like, we had just have a lot in common, which is always really fun to meet people like that. But so tell me how you got, because one of the things that you in your story that I know about you is that you had like a skin condition and
Yes.
that you healed it, like it just in one night went away after years and years of suffering with it.
Well, yes, thank you, Jenny. And by the way, I just love your energy. We just, you know, when I
We're
first
like,
met Jenny, that I followed my intuition to work with her, and it was like clickety clack, clickety clack. That's when you know your intuition's guiding you. That was what it was like with
right.
Jenny. So, I had a genetic chronic skin condition that was going back 3 generations. So it was my grandfather, my father,
Oh,
my brother, me, and it like for my grandfather, I don't know what was happened with my grandfather, but my father had uh you know a terrible skin condition all over his face for the first 10 years of his life, and he was always covered in ointments and creams. I had eczema and hives and all sorts of things, but what happened as I got older, I actually went through some major healing crises where I couldn't stop scratching. Like it was like an epileptic fit. I wanted to tear my skin off. And I'm New Zealand born Chinese. And it was like, there's this war going on between the Chinese side of me, being the oldest child, the one that, is a sensitive kind of caring person, empathetic, took care of her family, took care of her parents, her boyfriend, her clients. Like, it's like I had no boundaries between me and other people's stuff, including my parents' stuff. And I'm sure
Yeah.
many of you relate. And then the European side of me and the Chinese side of me was a real people pleaser and very responsible and very Chinese, very caring and hardworking. The European side of me was quite innovative, 5 planets in Aquarius, a pioneer, ahead of her time, zany. She would be the one dancing, through Woolworths when there's some really good music playing. She'd be the one going to tango dancing and be the only Chinese there. She'd be the one going to personal growth workshops and be one of the few
Yes.
Asians there at the time, because at that time there wasn't that many Asians that were dancing or doing personal growth. It was quite
Right.
rare. And so I was a real odd one out. And so this led to this bleeding and scratching nonstop for 2 months at a time, where I was bleeding all over. I was in mental hell day and night. Um, like I couldn't work. I was a single woman. I had no other income, no one backing me. I know the doctor was only just going to give me creams to try to suppress it. And I couldn't, I wanted to clear it. I didn't want to be dependent on medication.
Right.
Um, and eventually I'm sitting there on my hands and knees one time begging to find what's the next step. How am I going to clear this? Um, and then I got an
Right.
intuitive answer of how to shift it. And at that time, there's many times it happened, 2 or 3 times, but one time I got this really clear answer to listen to Louise Hay and create a CD, and I just listened to those positive energies and affirmations for 3 days, and then finally it stopped. But when it happened again later, when I was stressed, that wasn't going to work. So
Right.
that's what I mean. It's not one size fits all. I
Right.
had to follow my intuition about the next step. So I tried everything. I did everything natural. I'm really healthy. So I've never had a medication that, apart from a bit of antibiotics, but, I'm
Right.
really, really healthy. I've no operations, no junk in my body, no aspirin, no anything. So I tried everything. I tried the right food. I tried acupuncture. I tried remedial massage. I tried all my Chinese medicine training. I worked with other people. I did, family constellations. I did inner child work.
Yes.
I did Palawa healing. I did everything. And that was on and off for 30 years. Okay.
Right.
And then one time it flared up again so bad that I couldn't live in it anymore. And one day I said, this is over. I can't live in this body anymore. What would happen to me was, it was so hard. It was like this war inside my body. I couldn't live there anymore. It was like I either wanted to die or I wanted to heal it. That it was only
Right.
two choices.
Right.
That was it. I had enough. I'd had enough. And I looked in the mirror and I asked my intuition, there is a way, there is a way. And what it said to me was, make a decision. This is clear. And I said, from now on, it's flawless skin. And I was like, that's it. This is it. And the next day I went to sleep and then woke up the next day. It was completely flawless like now. So, you know, obviously I've done a lot of work on myself before
Listen,
that.
getting people to that point, yeah, I don't want anybody listening to think, oh, I'll just do that. Cause like, no, getting to, I know from the work I've done on myself too, like getting to the point where you're that powerful. I mean, everybody's that powerful, but getting to the point where that's accessible to you is like so amazing. That's a powerful story.
Yeah, well, the reason I teach, thank you for sharing that, but the reason I teach this
Yeah.
is because everybody's got that power. You've got that power, Jenny. Every single person in this world has, because the way I look at things is that there's an infinite, unlimited
Yes.
side of you. That's your intuitive self, and that's why it's empty. Like you're kind of connected to source or the universe or whatever, the soul or
Right.
the breath or the chi or the prana that's
Mhm.
inside you, and then you shine and show your true colors. And then there's the limited self, the conditioned self
Yes.
that says,
Right.
I have to do this to clear my skin. I have to do this to be healthy. This is how long
Yes.
it takes. And even as an acupuncturist, I had that training, you know, that every year you have a condition, you need a month intensive treatment. So 30 years, 30 months intensive. That means 2 or 3, 5 times a week.
Right.
That's my training.
Yeah.
But, you know, what happened was as soon as we make that decision and we go, you know, to that deepest place inside of us,
Mhm.
we connect to our infinite self. And I knew my infinite self would know the answer because it's always, 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 you know, put me on the right path. It helped me move country on my own instead of
Yes.
successful business. It every single magical thing that's ever happened in my life is because I've had unshakable faith in my intuition, and that's the reason I
Yes.
teach it.
Yeah,
Because
I love that.
people lost their power during COVID, and this is our chance to reclaim and remember who we really are. So you've all
Well,
got
yeah, and
this.
everybody loses their power anyway when just being on planet Earth. You listen to your mom and dad, you've lost your power. But like, it's fascinating story though, because it's such a radical result, you know? And that I do think so many people, that's why I was like, oh, please come on the show and let's like talk about it. Cause I think more people need to know it's not just possible, it's doable, like it's accessible to you, right? And so I know that you're growing your business and helping more people. Um, and I had a thought and it just went away because I was thinking to myself, I wanted to tell you, well, this was another thought. So when you talk about dancing, in human design, the two is the dancer
Yes.
because I'm the dancer too. Like we're supposed to be seen, we're supposed to be doing our dance, and people say, "Oh my goodness, how do you do that?" Right? And so
Yes.
that's what happens is people end up seeing you and then going, "How'd you do that? I want to do that." Isn't
Well,
that
we've all
wild?
got that power. I just, that's the reason I share this story is we've all got this power. We
Yes.
all have. We've just forgotten who we really are. I mean, if
Yeah.
if you think of it, if there was a burning house and your child was in that house or your granddaughter, suddenly the superwoman or the superman would come out, find this courage, dive into the house, rescue
There's
the
too many
child and
stories
yourself
like
back.
that. People are like filled with like that, lifting cars and just doing amazing things that they can't normally do when they're under a
Yes.
situation where there is no choice but to do that or cease to exist. I mean,
Well,
right?
that was my
Yeah,
choice. That was my choice.
right.
I couldn't live in my body anymore. It was too much war, and I could not live in that anxiety, the mental anguish, the emotional anguish, the depression and anxiety was like, you know, actually, it's literally killing me in my soul.
I
I
can
could not
imagine
live.
too, because your skin, I mean, I had skin cancer, and that's why I had this scar right here, which I try to get over, but like it's skin stuff is really affects your psyche in a way that because it's all about people perceive you. Forget it's also itchy and miserable or whatever. It's also it grades on your self-esteem.
Well, it
Like
was
it,
all over my face and like
oh
my whole face. I couldn't couldn't
yeah.
even leave the house. And at one stage, it was so bad that it felt like I had a size 10 skin and a size 12 body, put it for example. Like my skin was smaller than my body. So I
Gosh.
couldn't, and I've been meditating, going within for 2/3 of my life. I couldn't even meditate. I could not even do the most basic thing. It would hurt me
Yeah.
to smile. Now, for me, that was total trapped. And the doctor could
Yeah.
only give me medication, and the dermatologist said, we'll have to give you medication. We can't help you any other way.
What's
They
one of the
they didn't have
things
they didn't have a solution for me.
Yeah, no,
Just like
I hear you. I'm wondering what's one of the things that you think like your clients, so that's you and your own results, but like what's one of the biggest like breakthroughs or transformations you've seen with a client?
Well, there's been many.
I
Depends if
know.
you're talking
I
about
read some of
health
your
or
stuff and I
money.
was like, I just wonder what you think, like, pops out to you. You don't have to give
Okay,
all of them.
well, there's been many. Some of it's health, some of it's business, some of it's money.
Hmm.
Um, like the first thing that pops to my mind is this amazing lady that had 10 years of daily pain. And she'd been to many, many, many practitioners, but couldn't clear it. And, when she came, she was really, really like exhausted, really needed a holiday, was totally burnt out. And, we were really lucky. After 7 sessions, we were able to clear that plane completely. And
Wow.
it was amazing. It was actually a bit of a miracle for me too, because even I sometimes realize I've been limiting what's possible for clients because of my training, my Chinese medicine
Yes.
training or my holistic health training, and it was even bigger than I could have imagined. And she cleared it in 7 sessions. She, met the love of, she had met her love life took off, her business, quadrupled. She doubled her prices. She was, won awards. It's amazing. Oh, there's another story. Julie, she's done a testimonial, so she's happy for me to share. She had 30
Yeah.
years of chronic insomnia, chronic
Oh.
insomnia. And it was she'd get 2 to 3 hours sleep a night because her daughter had a life-threatening illness, and she was a
Oh.
solo mum, so she could not relax. So she was running a business on this, and obviously she also had shingles. She was in pain because her nervous system
Mm.
was fried over 30
Right.
years. And this is another miracle story. Like she came and joined me in a 8-week group program. I think it was the yin and yang of purposeful business. Anyway, she came and joined me in that, which was a weekly program. And then she had 2 one-on-one sessions. So it was only 10 sessions in the
Right.
total time.
Right.
And she completely cleared that after 10 sessions over 30 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. The health
So
stuff
she
is
went from,
amazing, but the money stuff is also amazing. I mean, I know you help people also just with the prosperity thing, like you're helping them make more money, which, I do too, but like, I know what you're saying when you say it blows your mind sometimes, like the results they're getting, because even if you've seen amazing results, it's that we still are humans. So we're still like, you know, I don't know, one foot on the planet Earth and the rest of us is somewhere else. But like, for sure, I love hearing the stories about the money, the growth, the expansion that people had no idea about, you
well,
know?
here's another example. Dr. Shara, she's a chiropractor in Singapore. She came to join me at a Qigong manifesting group I was running. Uh, she came in
Oh,
September.
cool.
She was averaging 15 to 17K a month. And
Right.
I think her highest month was 28K or something. Anyway, 3 months later, this is what happens when you balance your mind ease, your body ease, your heart ease, and embody prosperity. Three
Yeah.
months later, she magnetized 44K in 14 days, working 14 days. And what was amazing was the
Wow.
44K was the highest she'd ever done. I wasn't even really doing any business coaching with her. I was just,
Yeah.
embodiment coaching, embodiment
Right.
health
Yeah.
and prosperity coaching. And I'm not like a strategic business coach, but she didn't change her marketing. She didn't
Yeah.
change anything. It was just the inner game.
You changed
And
her inner game. Yes.
the last 20,000 out of that 44K she made in the last 2 weeks. And what was exciting about that, she thought, wouldn't it be fun if I made 20K in 2 weeks? She wasn't attached to the money. That's the key thing. She wasn't attached. And then
Right.
out of the blue, this money just poured in. She said she couldn't stop the
Yes.
money from coming. She said people that had packages were just wanting to buy more packages. People were just bringing in cash loads of money. And she couldn't stop the money coming in. It was like, it was total ease and flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, even that story blows my mind away of what is truly possible when we open the floodgates of our true potential, of our, unlimited true
Yes.
self.
Yeah,
um,
I know. And I know that you're doing these experiences. So I know, like, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm making this like a whole big ad about you, but like I really want you to share this stuff because it's amazing. Like, we did your human design chart. We saw the things that really resonate with your unique frequency and what your purpose and all the things. And so one of the things that you started offering with it, because you've been doing all these things, um, but now you're doing it a little different way. The experiences. I mean, I'm thinking it's a little different way. Is it something a little different?
Yes, and I'm so happy for your help, so grateful for your help. So we've created an intuitive
See how
freedom
I can help even
experience.
when I don't know what you're doing? Like, I can help you.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. Ginny's amazing. Highly recommend her. Intuitive freedom experience. So that came
That's
from
it.
the fact that I had I had the same, incarnation cross as Walt Disney, and what was exciting about that was I felt like I'd been given permission to truly express how I want to work in my business. Like I felt like it's like
Yeah.
tick, because I'd called myself a play and prosperity coach years ago. Like I've always loved playing more and prospering more. And Walt Disney was all about imagination and creating a world of fun and imagination for adults and people.
Yes,
So it
yes.
gave me permission. And this is where the intuitive freedom experiences idea came from. Let's give people a tangible 3 hour experience in nature, like
Yeah.
it can be in nature, it could be in a restaurant, could be in a beautiful place, could be dancing. Each place is at a different venue
Right.
to
Okay.
really embody, the well-being, the alignment, the prosperity.
I love it, and I think it's genius. You have someone who's gonna have a camera taking pictures, right? And just the whole thing is so imaginative and beautiful, and it's so you, and it's
Yes.
so, like, right? And it's so, as that grows, because that's the thing, like, you with everybody, you have to there has to be a level of commitment to putting it out and then nurturing it and letting it, like a flower garden, grow, and
Mm.
letting it breathe, and it'll the things that are supposed to come from it will come from it, like, like, that's, you don't
Yes.
have to, like you said, being a little unattached to the outcome, like your client was, where she was like, wouldn't it be fun to have 20 grand come in? It kind of is that way with every, like, wouldn't it be fun to have experiences where people just come and we do things together that open them up, and get that tea going the way you need it to go. Like, so it's just ingenious. And if I think I think personally you could do things online too. I really think you could
Yes.
extend it into being where people could even take their cameras and go into their version of where you are near them and
Yes. Well,
expand it.
I will be doing it online too, that people can experience that. And
Yeah.
uh I wanted to find a practical way to teach people intuition with and make it absolutely normal, because it's not like some people think intuition. Well, I'm not a psychic. I'm not clairaudient, clear vision. I don't
Right.
see auras. I don't see auras. You don't have to. Everybody's got some level of intuition, and that's the reason I'm teaching intuition through self massage, through qigong, through breathing, through art, through dancing, through eating being in eating a beautiful dinner, through beautiful places.
Yeah.
Intuition is with you all the time. It's just like a quiet voice. So you might get this voice, I better get on and get some work done. Gotta get some work done. That's like your mind, but your intuition's like, psst, psst, psst. Mary, do you think it's time that you took a break? That's like your intuition. It's really quiet. So,
Yes.
so for people to feel or hear their intuition, that was the inspiration for this. Like, how can I show them practically how they can hear their
Yes.
intuition? So there'll be time for, intuitive journaling and breathing and reflection time. But your intuition speaks in the most quietest way. you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's in a different frequency than your mind sometimes, but we all have it. And we'll all have it. Every single one of I just wanted to make intuition
Yes.
normal for the average
Yes,
person.
I'm thrilled about that because like I've talked about myself in a way that I think sounded so woo woo it wasn't getting through because I was saying like ego versus soul, like and because that's how it seems to me. But I love when you're saying intuition versus like the monkey mind thing, like your mind. It's like it's brilliant. So I'm just so excited to see how this all goes down because I think more people need to know about it too. I think more people need to and another thing is like you don't have to you have to be quiet enough to hear it, but you don't have to go into like a lot of people say, I can't meditate. Like what do you say to them if they say, I can't meditate, I can't it doesn't it doesn't happen for me. I can't be still or quiet enough. Like what do you say to them?
Well, the thing is that you don't necessarily have to be still. It's just that's why I teach qigong, which is a moving meditation. The most important thing is to focus your mind. Like that's why I teach qigong, because it helps you focus your mind on the breath, on
Mm,
the movement. And when you focus your mind, it could be just, staring and looking at a candle. When you focus your mind, you somehow a lot of stuff falls away, because the busier our mind is, the less. So for
yes.
me, okay, the way I explain the mind, this is just my version of the mind. To me, the mind is like a computer. Okay, or conditioning is like a computer. It's got
Right.
certain software, and the software program is the programs that you've been inputting into the computer. So the software might be your mum's conditioning, your father's conditioning, your grandparents' conditioning, what social media says, what health practitioners say, what the doctor says, what society says about money, what the government says, what people, what
All
politicians
the
are saying.
voices.
Okay, so these are like all these software programs that are in our
Hmm.
computer, which is in our mind, but they're limited, because any advice your mother gave you was from the past.
Yeah.
And even though some of it is grounded in the future and some of it is timeless, their way of approaching money and business and life and relationship is different than it is now. We've got a new world now. So to try to manifest from that old energy, it means you're only ever going to get a limited result. It's going to be a little boxed result. But when
Yeah.
you're magnetizing from that unlimited energy, that's when everything comes in. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? So
Yes.
it's an old software program. I say to people, if you want to double your income, you've got to let go of the old software program, and that is
Yes.
like that. And it's on a cellular level. It's in a cellular level. That skin condition was in my bones. In my DNA. I had
Yeah.
to see myself with flawless skin. That a person that never had a skin condition, I couldn't go back into the genetics and start replaying those old stories, because that was
Right.
anchoring in that old pattern. So I see it as new software, and we have to update our software so fast now with
Yeah.
changing technology and AI and everything, that none of us
Yes.
will ever be able to keep up to date with how fast things are moving, unless we're connected to our intuitive superpower. This is Andrea Sun's version. You don't have to believe me, but that's what I believe.
I
Unless
believe
we're
that.
connected to this, how are we ever going to be able to, because none of us can keep up with the technology. None of us can keep up with the amount of learning we have to do. None of us, and most of us are overwhelmed, especially in
Well,
business.
that's
I'm
exactly
totally overwhelmed.
yeah, that's exactly one of the big problems is people keep seeking, 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 looking for something because they feel like they don't have, like that I don't have. And so they're in lack and
Yes.
they're projecting it out and they don't realize they're doing that. And then they're getting it back and they don't realize they're doing that. And it's a self fulfilling cycle of of not great. Like even if you're doing well, you're usually, I'm not saying everybody, but you're usually pretty tapped out, need a vacation, you go for so long and then you need downtime, you can go, you're not in flow. You're not it's not easy. It's not ease. It's usually, like push, 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 and then coast a bit, and then push, 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 and that's just a whole different energy. That's
Well,
not sustainable for a lot of people.
no, it's definitely not sustainable. And honestly, it actually got to the point at one time in my life where I didn't want to do business many
Yeah.
times because it was like, and even a job, because it was like, I don't want to be a rat in a rat mill. Like, honestly, like, I just
I
like,
know, I'm
I
laughing
do
because I
not want to be a
totally get
rat
that.
in a rat
It's
mill.
like, I don't
And the
wanna work.
faster the mill goes, I've got to run faster. I didn't want that,
Mhm. Right.
you know. And the only way we can jump off that rat mill is change our thinking into a new perspective, because it's
Yeah.
honestly, it's a downward spiral. And even people that are multimillionaires or billionaires, do they have peace? Like, peace for me is what I wanted when that skin was really bad. I wanted
Yeah.
peace in my mind, my heart, and my body. I wanted peace. That was more important than all the money in the world at that moment. So,
Yeah.
really, embodying this prosperity consciousness and ease is peaceful prosperity. It is, because regardless of how much money's in the bank, how many clients are signing up, how many clients are interested in signing up, regardless of what's happening on the outside with my health, with my family, with my business, with
Yeah.
my work, with my life, I feel at peace. I'm at peace inside. And that's the greatest wealth that you could ever have. That's why they say your health is your greatest wealth. But it's
Yeah.
not just health like, I've got Apple Watch and I've done 10,000 steps, I'm healthy. People think they're healthy because they've done 10,000 steps.
Right.
That's not
Yeah.
what makes you healthy. What makes you healthy is your awareness, your alignment to your unlimited healthy self. Like, with 10,000
Yes.
steps, you can still do 10,000 steps and then feel 100% guilty about eating a piece of cake and counting the calories. That's not health. You see,
Right. Right.
health is an embodiment lifestyle. This is my experience, you know. And this is, I was just saying to Jenny before we arrived, I'm having ageless birthdays from now on. Ageless birthday.
I know, I was like, "Ooh, that's so different than what I've been, like, embracing it, having my gray and being like, "It's all good," but you're like, "No, you only have 1 birthday candle on the cake," and, like, because it's all just what you're one, and it's all one,
Well,
and
it's because I was working
something.
in aged care, and and obviously I've worked with a lot of clients. And I was working with a 92-year-old lady, and she was really healthy, except for using a frame, and mentally healthy. She could talk business and everything, and whatever, very mentally healthy. And I said, "What's the secret?" And she said, "I didn't celebrate my birthday." And I thought, I love celebrating my birthday because I love experiences, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
So I thought, okay, from now on, I'm having ageless birthday. So there's only ever one candle on the cake, and the deal is with my friends. You're welcome. I'd love you to join me to celebrate my ageless birthday, but we're not talking about age. And at my birthday, you can talk about age at your birthday, but we're not talking about age at mine,
No, I love
because
this, I love it, I think it's a great thing, let's all do it.
well, our soul is ageless. Like, there is a
Right.
part of us that is ageless, that
Yes.
never dies. There is a
Like, it's a
finite
joke.
part of
It's
our
a joke to
body
even
that
give
dies.
yourself the age because, like, it's not really actually true from a soul perspective, right? It's like,
Well, I chose years ago that I wouldn't age, and some of my clients are friends that have known me 30 years, because I haven't changed in 30 years. So,
I love
um,
that.
so, but and this is my natural hair, no Botox, no nothing. I've never had any color, never, you know what I mean? Like, they
Right.
say, it must be because your genetics. It's because I made a decision that I was
Mhm.
ageless. And there's nothing wrong with being older either. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being 80 or 70 or 60 or whatever.
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying it's the conditioning and the stories that go with age,
Yes.
that this is
Yes.
60, this is what you should have in the bank, or you should consider retiring. This is 70, this is how much superannuation you should have.
This
You
is
should be
what
planning when
is
you retire. You
successful
should
being
actually
70.
start.
This is what,
Yeah,
yes,
that you should
yes.
set up
Yeah.
your funeral fund now. You know, this is 80. You're lucky you haven't got arthritis. You're lucky you still haven't got Alzheimer's. You still got your brain. You like, it's all the stories that go with it
They're not
is
good
what ages
stories
people.
either.
It's so many stories with aging, and
I'm like, they're not
and
great stories.
and you're feeding your computer. You're feeding your computer with these
Mhm.
aging stories
Right.
every single time. And you hear it from your family and your friends. Oh, you're lucky you haven't got Alzheimer's. My mother, who's 74, has Alzheimer's. She's living in an old people's home. She's struggling to walk. She's on 5 medications. People already start to make the stories, and you will subconsciously start to make the same stories, because you'll remember when your mother died or your father died, or how
Yes.
old they are and what they've got, and that old genetic pattern will come up, and it will
Yeah,
come up.
I'm
You'll
adopted. Yeah, I'm adopted. And so I never had, I didn't find my birth parents till I was in my 50s.
Wow.
And so I had no clue. So I used to, left with no choice. I decided I had superhuman genes and I don't get sick. And I'm not a sickly person, for sure. So I do think I've always thought there's mind over matter kind of, that there's something there that I could easily tap into because I had no counter story. I had no reason to think otherwise. Then after I met my birth parents and found out their genetics, like they actually both have good genes. And I'm like, okay, so I'm covered both ways. Like,
Yes.
because I thought if there's something, some weird disease, and it's not that you hear about it that you get it, but it's that programming thing. Like if you're thinking about it, and you can absolutely create things with your mind. We can create everything with our mind. I mean, not just our mind, but like our energy and everything. And so part of that story, yeah, disempowering stories. That's why I don't even watch the TV anymore, because
No.
it throws something at me that is not my energy. It's not anything I really even want to know. Obviously there's need to know, and then there's 24-hour news cycle. Like there's a distinction there, need to know. I don't even know the weather though. I don't even watch the weather. Like I'm always, everybody's like, what's the weather? I'm like, I don't know, look outside.
Yeah,
I'm sure the weather people would not appreciate that, but like, what am I going to do? I can't control the weather. So what, I mean, why do I need to look ahead and see what the weather's going to be next Tuesday?
yeah, what we assume manifests. I always assume I'll be healthy. I always assumed I'd look 30 years younger than I am. I'd always assume that I have no, no menopause symptoms when I did. No, I had none, no hot flushes, no nothing. I never expected myself to have them. Everybody else had them. I
Yeah,
never expected myself to have them. It's kind of it's very subtle programming,
yeah,
and it takes away our power. It, and I remember when my mother passed away of terminal cancer, and and
I'm
this is
sorry.
why I say these are some of the roadblocks that can happen in your business. On my business, and it crashed because I was torn between two countries, New Zealand and Australia, and I nearly moved back. And I remember after she passed away, my dream was to fulfill my father's bucket list and do something every year for him, to take him on a trip. He always wanted to go because he always wanted to travel, but he always put the family first and he never got round to it.
Mm,
And like one of the last trips we did was Thailand and Cambodia. We just had a ball of a time. He was 83 at the time, 83, right?
fabulous.
And another trip was he wanted to do gliding in the plane over the Southern Alps. Uh, Gliding is a plane that has no engine, so you just
Yeah,
carried along, by the air current. It's very quiet. The air currents are carrying you, and it's really quiet. So we booked him this thing in New Zealand. It's in Oamaru in the South Island, best flying in the world.
And you just fall off a mountain?
Sorry?
You just fall off a mountain on the,
No,
in the
they
thing?
have a motored plane pulling you along, I think, and then they let you
Oh,
float on the air currents. So
okay.
anyway, he was in this little plane. It's just as narrow as the seat, with him in the front, the pilot at the back, and the pilot at the back was about 75. My father was about 80 or something. So between the two of them, they're about 160. And this pilot had flown over from England every year to teach flying.
Wow.
Because in Oamaru, New Zealand, because it's one of the most beautiful places in the world to do it, every year, that was his thing he did for 3 months. And my father had a ball, and he got to steer the plane, and and he just was so excited. But afterwards, after being in that plane for an hour and a half, and you're sitting like that, and he has arthritis in his hips, he couldn't get out. So,
Oh.
so we had to get these 2 young guys to come and pick him up, pull him out like a cork. And he was out. But that didn't stop him. What I'm saying is, it didn't stop him, and it didn't stop me. And he was just a bit stiff. So when we took him back to the motel, gave him acupuncture, and he's walking the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, just lay down, Dad. I'll give you some acupuncture.
And then we went whitewater rafting, and we're going through the rapids, and he nearly falls out the boat, and he's so stiff afterwards because he's been in this wetsuit, and so this guy carries him down to the sauna, strips his wetsuit off. I take him home, plonk him in the bath to defrost him, give him some acupuncture, and he's walking the next day. So what I'm saying is, even your elderly parents, you can take them on holidays, and as long as you have the mindset that we're going to get through this, we'll be fine. We're going to get through this.
It's really amazing and such a gift. So I guess we'll wrap it up. But we could talk forever. That's what I was saying. I don't even worry about what we're going to talk about, because we could just talk, right? I hope everyone watching has enjoyed this. Give us some details how to reach you. Like, if someone's watching this and they're like, I want to contact Andrea, like, give us your numbers.
Sure. Okay, if you've got a pen and paper, everyone. So it's Linktree, LINKTR.ee/ANDREASUN. So that's Linktree, LINKTR.ee/Andrea, ANDREASUN. And you can book in for a free 15-minute chat there. There's the freebies, there's client testimonials, there's packages. And also, if you're in Brisbane, come to the Intuitive Freedom Experiences. We start on the 17th.
Yes.
And the Intuitive Client Magnetism, we're going to be doing the Prosperity Consciousness on the 26th, 27th. There's only 8 spots left. So anybody that wants to join us, we're going to have so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I'm very excited. I can't wait to see all the pictures of the experiences and more testimonials and all the things. I'll have to come visit. I'll have to fly over there. We'll have to get me a speaking gig or something over there so that I have I'll come over.
Everybody come to Brisbane. So fun. Jeannie. We have to meet in person, honestly. This
I know.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
all right.
I love your
well,
energy.
Listen, guys, thank you for coming, and we will see you soon. Okay, bye.